welcome to Climate Courage. My name is Andrea Edwards and this is my first Climate Courage of the year. Lots of things have gotten in the way of me kicking it off again. Today I want to do something a little bit different rather than doing a live, and that is to take you through my home and show you all of the different things that we're doing that hopefully will inspire you. And it's things like our composting, our recycling, and basically whatever, even cleaning products that we're using that are natural. So that's what we're going to do today. And I say we is because I'm inviting, oh hello, the pussycats come to say hello, Vicky Minguillo, who I call my sister from another mother. I've had the great privilege of having Vicky as part of our home for 16 years now, and she's an amazing person, and it's easier to work with Vic than it is with my boys, which I'm sure other parents of teenagers can relate to. Anyway, just say hi to the cat. So, if you don't know, 6% of global emissions are created from food waste. So this is things like dumping ugly fruit because no one wants to buy it, to inefficiencies in the system, or just rotten produce, right? So 6% of global emissions are from food waste. So obviously the industry has to sort that out, but also we need to be very conscious of not wasting food ourselves. And then there's another statistic which I think is a really interesting one, and this stat really spurred me on to make some changes at home. 7% of the methane in our atmosphere is released from garbage dumps, landfills, incinerators, that sort of stuff. And it's from our food waste from home. So we're putting food waste in the rubbish and it's releasing methane, and 7% of global methane comes from us. So I have a very strict policy at home: no food waste at all goes in the bin, and we've worked hard to find solutions for everything. So that's some of the things I'm going to show you. So methane is 70 times more potent than CO2 in the short term. So God, we've got to get a handle on it, because one of the big issues around methane, of course, is that natural methane release, so that's in the permafrost, is now surpassing human methane release. And we see massive inefficiencies in the fossil fuel industry. So there's a lot that we could be doing, but you and I, and that's what Climate Courage is about, is what can we do? What can we do to make a difference? So maybe this will inspire you. Get a pen and paper and take some notes, or if you're already doing some really great stuff, do a video and share it with people. Let your community know what you're doing, because what we need is rapid escalation of this. So just to give you one example, South Korea has about 99% of its food waste now going into compost, and it's created this massive community around it. Older people are finding it a really good social experience. If you go to the UK, the majority of areas, boroughs, states, whatever they're called over there, they have food waste bins where people put all of their food waste out, and it gets turned into biofuels. So this is one of the things that we can do. It does create a little bit of extra work in the home, absolutely. But the most important thing is get yourself set up to do it effectively. It doesn't have to be expensive. There's lots of different options available. So, like I said at the beginning, I want to do this with Vicky Minguillo. So here she is.
Hi, my name is Vicky Minguillo from Philippines, and I was born in Philippines too. And now I'm here in Phuket. I was inspired by Andrea Edwards for what she's doing about the climate change. So I'm doing something for her too. And now we're going to go and show you what we're doing inside the house. She's the one who teach me on how to save the earth. And I keep sharing people too.
So I have to tell you something. This is not a pretty version of home. This is the messy stuff, right, Vic? But Vic is house proud, so she's cleaned lots of stuff up. But anyway, we're going to go and show you what we've been doing. All right, let's start with our big bucket of coffee waste. We've got about, 6 coffee drinkers in this house, and we don't buy the pods because we don't believe in the pods. But what we do is we fill up this box of coffee waste, and when it gets full, what do we do with it, Vic?
We go and put it into the plants.
Yeah.
And to prevent, it creates for preventing the insects to come and eat your plants, and also fertilizer.
There's also a really amazing case study in Costa Rica where they put coffee grounds on degraded soil, and the forest canopy was like spectacular in a very short period of time compared to some other land where they didn't put the coffee. So let's get coffee waste back in the ground. It's really, really important. As you can see, these are our 2 bins. This one is just for normal rubbish, but this one is for compost, and you can see kitchen paper. We don't use massive amounts of kitchen paper, we try not to, but this is our compost bin, and when it gets filled up with paper, cardboard as well, we put it into the compost. The geckos love it. We don't really need to seem to have to put a lid on it, right? It doesn't seem to be an issue. We're feeding the geckos, which I'm happy with, and yeah, it's working well, right?
Yeah.
And then over here, past the plates, is our eggs. So we've got at least one massive egg eater in our family, and that's our son Lex. So we clean the shells and store them here, and then what do we do, Vic?
All right, here we go. For the eggs, we dry it. We hang it in the sun until dry, and then I make it into a powder. You can use the machine. What is that, Andrea?
A grinder or something, right?
Grinder, or you can use the
pestle
to go and make it powder, and then you can, because this will produce as a calcium for the plants.
Yeah.
So if your plants there's a curly hair on it, that means it's not enough calcium. So I put it in the plants as a calcium together with the soil.
Awesome. So Vic grew up on a farm in the Philippines, and so she's got lots of amazing knowledge, but she's also got what I call the old knowledge. So a lot of us who grew up in sort of Western countries, we've lost a lot of the knowledge. So Vic's just full of this amazing knowledge, and I sit at her feet and learn. She's amazing, truly. All right, this is the outdoor spot, and Vic sort of goes out pretty quick. I'm always looking around for cobras, because this is an area that attracts the cobras. All right, what do we got?
So the food that we put in the, as what Andrea say in a book, the food which is waste. So we put it in this one, which is called the Bokashi bin.
Yeah, and this is meat, fat, cheese, basically the stuff that can't go in the compost. The only thing that can't go in it is bones.
Bones, yeah. So we have that. We pour the food there, and then we put this one. This is called the Bokashi.
Bokashi powder brand.
I ordered this from Shopee. Yeah. It's quite cheap in Shopee though. So we just put that, and then I just put a lot because I put a lot of food in there, which is meat. There is a stinky ham in there, so that's why I put a lot of Bokashi. But you don't need to require to put so much, because if you want to save that, you can save too a little bit. Just put, it's okay.
The Bokashi breaks down into this liquid, and you can dilute the liquid and put it on your garden as compost, or if you use it pure, you can use it as a drain cleaner. So we've got to stop chemicals going into our environment. You know, 100% of the rain all over the world is full of forever chemicals. So we've really got to get the chemicals out of the system. So this is another solution as well that you can use in a natural way in your home. All right, Vic's going to show us the Bokashi juice.
All right.
It's really stinky. I got some to deal with a blocked toilet, and I had a hangover, and it really made me sick. All right, Vic.
All right, so this is the new Bokashi. There's no water yet. There's no juice yet. So this is the old one. If you can see, it's really full. Lots of body. All right. Then all you need to do is to go and open the tap, and then the Bokashi juice will come out like that. All right, and then when you collected it, you can mix water half and half, and then you can water it into the plants.
Yeah.
That's produce fertilizer.
All right, and so the Bokashi came after, but I started with the compost, and we got a massive compost bin. And by having a massive one, we don't actually really even need to empty it that often, do we, Vic?
I think we just empty it when it's full.
Yeah, but it hasn't. I remember once it was fully empty, but otherwise we've kept it. But what do we put in there, Vic?
We put like vegetable. When we peel the vegetables, carrots, bananas, and everything like paper, dry kitchen paper. Then we put there papers.
Yep.
That we never use it. We just put it in there, which is milk, but we cannot put plastics in there.
Yeah. All right, we're going to show you some of the.
There is a banana peel.
So you can see. There you go.
There you go.
So it's organic stuff, so no
Yeah.
fats, no meats, no cheeses, anything like that. And of course, we put it out into the garden when we do sometimes empty it. But there's so many bugs that are having a great time in there. We typically just
Maggots.
typically leave them to get on with munching it down. So it's going back into nature, and that's our goal. Here's one where Vic's just put some eggshells and some paper. It looks like
But the
some
best thing
fruit,
is to
veggies just
make it
into
a
this
powder.
plant. So it's just basically about anything that we've got. Rather than we avoid putting it in the rubbish, in the general rubbish, and we put it back into nature whenever we can. You know, it's a bit messy. We probably should have put this a little bit further away from our house. So lesson learned for next time, but it's all right. Like, it doesn't bother me. Steve seems to get a bit more upset with the smell, but it's all right.
But these plants we are using that one, the Bokashi, and sometimes the water from here, and our plants has been putting with this one.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And like,
make it fertilizer.
it's funny, all these plants here that you can see outside our back door, none of this was here when we first moved in here 3 years ago. That one with the red branches, that was actually planted somewhere else, and we've replanted it. But this shows you Vic's green thumb. We've got avocado tree.
avocados.
That's massive now.
Yeah.
Wow. So Vic sort of plants pineapples and does all sorts of things, but just shows you what a green thumb she's got. Just want to show you, just outside our kitchen window is our garden, and all of our compost goes into that. It was very acidic when we first started, so we've had to put a bit of work into it to get the soil healthy. And well, what are we planting there at the moment, Vic?
At the moment, we last 2 weeks ago, the tomatoes has been harvested. So now we have planting there like sweet potatoes, papayas, and green lemon. And what else? We plan again to go and make the Lexi's favorite one, which is strawberry.
Oh yeah, and beans.
And beans, we just harvested it and Lex enjoy it. So much fun.
Just want to show you outside another window is our herb garden. We try not to buy any herbs because they always come in those single-use plastics that can never be recycled. We're consistently failing at coriander or cilantro, but we keep trying. But you can grow herbs indoors. It doesn't have to be outdoors. We're lucky we've got a house. If you're living in a condominium or apartment block, you can do this together as a community, and that's something that I'd really encourage. Bring the community together, especially the elderly who might be living there. They can manage the composting, the gardening, and they're often closer to the memory of living this way, where we make our own, we grow our own food and herbs. So anyway, we're pretty committed to this. All right, so one of the other areas that's really important, like we were talking about chemicals before, is really trying to get the chemicals out of our lives. There are so many natural options, and Vic's going to take us through some of the ones that we've been working on, and hopefully you'll be inspired to do it too. Let's get the chemicals out of our lives. All right?
Okay, so let's go to how we use vinegar as a natural for our laundries or to remove others. So vinegar and water. This is, we're just using this one because we recycled bottle. So I use this to spray like stinky clothes or stinky couch wherever you go, or you can spray this on the table as well. You just use this one and then you can remove the smell.
So 50-50 vinegar water?
Yes, 50-50 to spray. You can spray this into like a couch, but be careful not too much, okay? Yeah. Alright, let's go to how to, instead of buying spray oils from the supermarkets, which is we didn't know what they use for it. So I found out how to use a natural one. So on top you can see is the olive oil. And this one is a pure rice white vinegar. So all you need to do is to go and shake. You can put half of the vinegar, half also of the olive oil, or 1/4. You can choose what you want, how thick you want, and then you just shake it like this, and then use the cloths, whatever cloths, as long as clean, and then you spray it on the wood on the table. Can we show that to them?
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the table. Demonstration.
Yeah, demonstration. So all I need to do is to just shake it and spray it like this a little bit, and then wipe it. Wipe it until dry, And you can see your table is not oily at all, but it's shiny.
Yeah.
You can see that shiny. So there's no oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is how we use a natural one. Last time I keep buying spray oils for the furniture, but now I didn't buy anymore.
Yeah.
Alright, here we go again. I found out a natural cleanser for everything. I use this for all-purpose cleaner. I use this for the toilet bowl, which is so great. It's so shiny. And then I use it for the pots as well. You can try it. So look at this one. You can go and see your face. You can use it as a mirror. It's so shiny. And look, this is a combination of 90 grams of toothpaste. Where's the toothpaste here? It's just like this. I use this toothpaste, whatever toothpaste, as long as toothpaste. And then 500 ml of dishwashing liquid, any kind of dishwashing liquid. And then 1 tablespoon of baking soda.
So somebody on Instagram said that the dishwashing liquid gets too soapy, so it's not working for them. And I said we use an organic dishwashing liquid, which is less soapy.
Yes, yes.
So maybe
Oh, it's not here.
yeah, the label's gone because we just keep refilling it,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, maybe the less soapy organic or more sustainable options are actually better for this. But yeah, Vic uses this for everything.
But yeah, but usually it's not so. I already tried. I'm using it now. It's not so soapy because the baking soda will control the bubbles.
Ah,
And you try it, and it's so amazing.
yeah. And there's like so many chemicals and detergents out of the house just with those 3 solutions. So plain vinegar, just for cleaning surfaces.
Yeah.
What is it? White rice vinegar and olive oil to polish wood.
Yeah.
And then baking soda, dishwashing liquid, and toothpaste. Basically, is an all-surface cleaner, and it doesn't mean you have to work extra hard in
No,
cleaning,
just
right?
go and clean it nicely. Your toilet is so sparkling, and there is no odor at all.
Yeah,
The odors is so wonderful.
yeah.
Allah. What else do we need?
So here you go. We found a provider of soda water bottles. One of my sons obsessed with soda water, and we can return the bottles and refill them. This is our recycling bins, and it's just full of everything: tins, paper. Whatever we're collecting. So in the summertime when the family went to Europe, Vic, Kunwati and a few other people went around Phuket and found all of the recycling places on the island and found out what they recycle, what they don't recycle, what they give money for, and all sorts of things, right? So we've really got a good idea now of what can and what cannot be recycled. So we're trying to get the things that can't be recycled out of the house. It's really hard to be green. But once you actually know what can and can't be recycled, it just makes the whole process so much easier. You take the stuff, sort it out, take it directly where it can go, where it can be created into something else. My friend Michelle Mouillet has Sustainable Mycow Foundation, so she's doing loads of work. Blue Tree, they're doing loads of work on recycling and getting plastics and products, rather than going back into the environment, they're going somewhere where they can be used. So we've put a lot of work into this. We're still working at it. It's going to be a long time before we can be perfect. I don't think we'll ever be perfect, but the goal is making sure that we're not contributing more to the mess that's already here, because the waste crisis is out of control and we need to get on top of it, and every single one of us has got to take individual responsibility for the amount of waste that we're putting in the environment. So please work out what you can recycle, work out who's going to take your recycling, come together as a community, go and talk to the recyclers, share the information. This is what's required now, right? You can't, like in wealthy countries, you've got local councils. You can't depend on them unless you're willing to pay massively high rates to cover the cost, because that's what's required. And then in other countries, it's an impossibility. So you've got to do it yourself. You've got to work it out yourself, and then share with your community. So we need less waste. We all know that, right? I don't know if you remember when you were a kid, reusing and saving your cooking oil was something that we used to do. My family used to put it into the garden when it got
I used to put that on my rice when I was very young.
Oh yeah? Was it good for the rice?
I ate it, yeah.
Right.
Because it's flavored.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, so save your oil and reuse it, and eventually when it's can't be used. You can put it in your Bokashi. Yeah.
Bokashi, I didn't put it in a Bokashi because some people can use that for their recycling.
The oil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Buying 1 kilo is 60 baht.
All right. Oh, there you go. So, yeah, let's find out those solutions for the oil that are relevant to you locally, or put it in the Bokashi if there isn't one. We don't use a lot of aluminium foil, but when we do, we roll the layers into a ball and we then put that in with the aluminium cans for recycling. So as long as it's in a ball, it doesn't get lost and it can be recycled. So hanging off the back of the door in our kitchen is this bag where we put stretchy plastics on. So stretchy plastic means
That means we can make it straight.
it's got some pull in it. Whereas you'll find a lot of the plastic that you find in the supermarkets, it's hard and it's stiff and you can't stretch it.
Yeah.
But stretchy plastic can be recycled and turned into other products. So stretchy plastic's really important. I know in Australia you've got a big issue at the moment. The provider that was storing, you've got these warehouses across the country full of this stretchy plastic through a partnership between the major supermarkets, and it's now kind of not happening, right? But if you can find a recycler in your country or in your town that can create stuff from stretchy plastic, please go for it. All right, so this is the hard plastic. Can you?
Hard plastic, which is we cannot go and pull it at all. So this is the thing that we need to go avoid if we can avoid it buying from fruits. But look, sometimes we cannot avoid it.
Yeah.
Buying tomatoes here is always to go and wrap it with this. So we have no choice if we need the tomatoes unless we don't eat that.
Yeah, and these trays aren't great either.
This
They're
is
very rarely recycled. So, but you know, most of the fruit and veggies here are in these, and it's you know, we're trying to grow tomatoes in the garden so that we can actually get away from these things. So, all right. Also hanging on the door in the kitchen is a bag where we put bottle tops. We've got batteries there. So batteries, one of the best places to take your old batteries is to IKEA. They only take a limited amount, but great not to put them in the rubbish. But these plastic bottle tops, they can go to precious plastic providers. These are small businesses that are popping up all over the world. They're making new products and giving this plastic a new life. So check out the precious plastic providers in your country. And alternatively, if you want to start a business, that's a good opportunity, especially the amount of plastic bottle caps that we find on the beaches. Down here, we've also got light bulbs. Vic, where can we get these shortages? So even though we use, what are these light bulbs called again? The proper ones, long-lasting ones.
Yeah, this is long-lasting bulb. I forgot that.
So we also keep the light bulbs there, the long-lasting ones. I can't remember the name. It'll come back to me. We get a lot of electricity shortages. So even though we invest in the longer ones, then it's not really great here. But where can we send these, Vic? Do you know? I know the university takes old light bulbs.
Yeah, but I didn't know.
All right, so that's something we've still got to find out. But yeah, best not to put these in the rubbish. They break up into tiny little pieces of glass. But also there's a lot of metal here, and we're going to be facing some serious metal shortages in the years ahead. So all the metal in our homes, we should be making sure it goes where it needs to go. We also keep any bags from shopping. We always say no to bags when we go shopping, but every now and again you need one. So we keep them, we use them for gifts, for wrapping paper. Christmas time I just basically cut up all the bags and use them as wrapping paper. Everything needs to be used more than once. That's the key thing. So yeah, keep a little spot for that. Let's just go there.
All right. We try to go and save money, and so that we can reuse the recycling. So instead of buying containers, we use the empty milk bottles.
Yeah.
We clean it, we dry it, and then we can use this is a soup that we buy from lemongrass.
Yeah, and that goes into our hand wash pumps. And so you know when you go to the supermarket, you can buy those little hand wash pumps.
Yeah.
Try not to get them. Get these refills and then refill those bottles so we're not constantly adding more plastic to the environment.
Yeah. So that's why sometimes, because we cannot avoid to go and buy this, if we buy eggs, sometimes we're going to buy this, but we use this for the recycle. We give it to the people who have a farm.
Yeah.
So they can reuse it.
And we do that with jars, with containers.
Yeah.
Basically our goal is
Our goal is to save the earth.
But also minimal waste that goes out the door,
Yes.
right? And so the final sort of section I'll show you out here, we've got this big area, so that's obviously where the tins go. We crush them. We've got
Look at this. We
jars. Oh, there you go.
preserve
Wait a
that
minute.
for people who have no money for the recycling, for them to.
So yeah, we
You
give
know?
give it to people to take, so they
Yeah.
can get some income. A lot of people are struggling right now.
Yeah.
So we crush them and take the tabs off, right? So, and then we've got glass jars. So we try and
Yeah, I show
buy
you
buy more of them. We clean them and give them to our friends who make chutneys and all that sort of stuff. Right. Yep.
Bygone at the moment we didn't know where to go, so we keep that in there until we know where it goes. But this one you can do recycling with this.
So the men's deodorant, but my deodorant can't be recycled.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're sort of storing things when we don't know if it's got a place to go, and at some point I'm going to package it up and send it back to the company. I'm going to address it to their circular economy department, so they can be dealing with it, right?
So this one, like canned foods, tomato cans, they can recycle.
Yep.
That they can recycle with this, and
Yeah.
also milk bottle they don't recycle.
Yep.
But if you can use it first.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we buy things like washing powder in these big tubs, or the washing, that's the liquid, and then the powder in these big buckets, because they can be reused.
Yeah,
So
you can be reuse or you can do recycling, because they can, local people keep using this for the things, you know.
yeah, and I know for bulk purchases, for a lot of people it's expensive, getting that money up front, but
That with the Bokashi.
so there you go. That sort of gives you a feel for all the things we're doing, and we haven't even started. We've got all our cardboard's a fantastic recycling option. There's a group of people that come to our home and collect recycling, and they make some money from it. And we've got a whole bunch of beach waste up there as well. And our whole goal is trying to limit how much junk leaves our home. And if we could all sort of start to work towards it, it is work. It takes time. But you get your system set up and you start one by one. I'd start with the compost bin to make sure your food waste has got somewhere to go. Then I'd go to Bokashi. For bones, which you can't put in anything, we give it to Kunwati, and he takes it and gives it to the soy dogs. So we're just always trying to think, where can it go? And if we're using something consistently that has no place to go, then we're either going to send it back to the producer, and I'm going to address it to the circular economy department, or we try not to buy it and find better alternatives. So hope you got some ideas today. Like I said, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it, because our beautiful earth is worth it, right? Final words?
Right, here we go. That's all for today. We hope that we also share our ideas on how we go and listen our waste. And if you're interested, whatever you ask questions, just go and contact Andrea T. Edwards. And goodbye.
Thanks, Vic. Well, there you go. Thank you, Vic, for joining me, and also for just being part of it with me. I don't need to come up with all the ideas. You're so full of ideas yourself, and it's been awesome. And we just wanted to, noisy motorbike, we just wanted to share what we've been doing, at some point, really not too far away, I think a lot of people in the world are going to be going, why didn't we do something sooner? And we've got to start with ourselves, and that's what climate courage is all about. It's like really sort of honing in on what's relevant for us and what we can do to contribute, because what I have found by going on this journey, and it is a journey and it's not something you do overnight, it's step by step, you work out the solutions that you want to overcome. So for me, making sure that no food waste was in the bin so that I wasn't contributing to the methane problem, that was a huge one for me. And then Vic and Wati and the team with Kumbo went out all across Phuket and discovered where all the recycling facilities were and what they accept and what they don't. That's a big thing, because then you can shop differently, you can think differently. None of us can be perfect. The world's not designed to be green. But if we can just do our best, just always be doing our best. And that's all I'm trying to do. And by doing this, one of the things that we're also doing is we're giving our children confidence that that they actually have a future. And our children are scared. And that's on us. We've got to change the way we live it on this earth. And we've got to do it for ourselves. And then we've got to fight the system. You know, we've really got to fight the system, because right now the system is not changing, and we've got to vote for the right sort of leaders who've got the guts to make the changes. We've got to support them. You know, we heard about Nicola Sturgeon in Scotland also left, and similar situation to Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand. They're human. They can only take so much. The way women in leadership positions are being treated around the world is not a good sign for the future of humanity. Maybe we've already left it too late. I know a lot of people think that. I can't. But please, I beg you, pay attention to what's going on. Let's clean up our act. When you clean up your act at home, it inspires you to clean up the world's act. It really does. So, I hope it's been useful. Reach out anytime. And by the way, if you're doing something, if you're making a difference, even in your own home, whatever you're doing, share it on social media. Like, too many people are leaving social media because it's gotten so ugly, but by doing that, we're allowing the ugly voices to dominate. Now, with artificial intelligence, if all of the conversation that artificial intelligence is basing its answers on is dominated by the ugliness in our society, we've got another big problem on our hands. I've always been saying the good people of the world need to step up and speak up. So don't leave social media because it's getting ugly. Participate in a beautiful way. Get your messages of faith and hope and beauty out into the world. Share your awe. Share what you're doing at home. Be part of the conversation, because we need you more than we've ever needed you. So don't go away. Come back. We need the great people of the world on social, in person, everywhere, speaking up, acting, changing things, and giving our kids a chance at a future. That's what I'm all about. See you in a couple of weeks.